Hello, everybody, and welcome to Dime a Dozen Season 7. We are playing in teams of 4 this time, and this time I am back to my spectating ways. We spectated a couple of seasons of this, and this time we're finally back to doing it all again. We've got a couple of fun game modes for this season. We are doing quite a few scenarios. They are picked by Iluniel, who is on the blue team. In fact, we can go to Elu right now while we talk about the game modes because it was all them. It was all their idea. So the first game mode is Bow Fighters. I'm going to turn on my audio a little because I think it's a bit too loud. There we go. That should be a little better. Turn direction audio and why not? Bow Fighters, which means that when it comes to PvP, the maximum amount of damage you can do to a player is only with either a wooden sword or a stone axe with melee. And everyone at the start of the game, as we can check by Iluniel's inventory here, will be given 2 string, an arrow, an infinity book. Well, that's it. They get all that stuff at the beginning of the game because, as the name implies, Bow Fighters implies that the game is primarily going to be focused around using bows, which is why the melee weapons have been significantly downgraded. I believe the stronger melee weapons can still be crafted to deal with mobs because I don't think people constantly want you to, be struggling with, crafting loads of wooden swords or stone axes to deal with mobs all the time. So that's why we've done that. Harper has already gone ahead and used her 2 string on a fishing rod instead of a bow, which is something that I can definitely see a few more like melee orientated players doing, or people just doing it as a joke. Because as you can see right here, mine shafts exist pretty commonly throughout the world, which has a lot of string in it, so there's a good chance people can just get a bunch of string through that. It's quite rare in UHC these days that players will go that players will go the entire game without getting access to a bow in some regard, especially on servers like Arctic, because there are some custom crafts where you can get string a bit easier. For example, I believe on most Arctic games you can turn 4 wool into 1 string, which is something that I'm surprised something similar doesn't like already exist in the game. Like, I feel like that would be something that would be a pretty easy thing or pretty simple thing that's the game, but I guess it would also become a little overpowered. I think the way they've done it here is pretty good. Lottie here has found herself a ruined portal. There's a gold block here. I'm not sure how exactly Leon has gone in regards to nerfing gold and nerfing the nether, because in the current versions of the game, these gold blocks obviously give you 9 gold and everything, but some servers have tried to change it up to try and make them a little bit less broken. Some other game modes we have for this season, we have permakill, which means that right now and for the rest of the time until someone dies, it's going to be permanently daytime. Then as soon as someone dies, it will go switch to permanite, then permaday, and permanight, and so on and so forth. The next game mode we have is damage cycle, which, as we can see here, I believe it's 10 minutes. It could be 5, it could be 20. It's somewhere within those ranges. A different type of damage will be tripled. So right now, if anyone were to get shot by a skeleton, it would do 3 times as much damage, which, especially in the beginning game here, can get pretty deadly pretty fast. Let's go to a different team. Let's go to Wingu, because we haven't been to... because I want to try and go to every team at least once. I've kind of been sticking around like the same sort of people. The 4th scenario, which you can kind of see above Wingu's head here, is Team Health, which basically means that you're not going to know everyone's individual healths. As you can see on tab here, we can see everyone's health in combination with like the entire team. And when one person takes damage, that will then you'll then see that being taken off every player in the game. So everyone still has their own 10 hearts, and they're not shared 10 hearts or anything. It's just when it comes to viewing it on tab, you'll only see the team's health instead of just your own. And the final scenario is Health Donor, which is a fun little one. I don't think it's gonna have too much impact, but it definitely could. We could definitely see it play out in some fun ways. Where the game mode is basically as it says, you can donate health to another player. I don't know if it works on like other teams, but like I don't see why it wouldn't. So like if you for some reason wanted to give health to another team, like as a joke, I think you could absolutely do that. If anything, I think that would, kind of be funny. Because like imagine like if that's the way you get first damage in this UHC. Like, can you imagine if the way you get first damage is by like transferring health to like an enemy player or something, or like just transferring health to someone else? Like you're on 10 hearts, you give half a heart to another player. That'd be funny to put on the stats actually. Anyways, those are the game modes. Quite a few game modes for this season. And moving on to the teams, we've got 6 teams of 4, making for a large roster. And it's going to be interesting to see how this game goes. So in the early Dime a Dozen seasons that I spectated, because I spectated the first one but didn't record, then I spectated the second one, and I spectated I think one or two others after that. One of the things that I found was that PvP was very prominent early on. However, in the later seasons I spectated, that appears to have changed a little, and we don't really seem to have that as much anymore. So I'm kind of hoping that this season we get to see some more early PvP again, because that was always really fun. It made the season super fun to spectate. And look at this! Look at this behemoth! Holy smokes! Keelan's gonna have a fun time exploring this. I'm wondering if this is in 1.19, which means the Deep Dark should be a thing. I'm kind of curious if I can find if the Deep Dark does exist, and if it does, is there an ancient city? I don't know how Arctic has gone about with changing their code, but I need something to do while we wait for the game to pick up a bit, because this first episode is like first episode's always going to be like the more tame episodes because there isn't any chance for PvP or anything. Lottie's already got a golden apple though, and a lot of people are getting a bunch of chests through villages, and they're all getting triggered in my spec info, which is going to spam the chat a little bit. It's like yeah. It's not going to be the most interesting of first episodes, like PvP wise and everything. So I want to spend first time just touring down the ground a little bit because, oh yeah, one other thing I should also mention is that we are playing in 1.19. However, the PvP is based on the old combat, so we're still in 1.8 PvP. So all the combat that you guys were used to for years, it's still a prominent thing here. But yeah, going around the world right now, I'm not seeing any Deep Dark, which makes me kind of think that Leon has removed it, which is kind of unfortunate, but I can also see why, because I know the current meta of UHC, or at least like the way UHC has evolved into, people probably don't want to be dealing with the Deep Dark and the things that are inside it, especially with how broken some of the loot can be for some of the more experienced players who can just find their way around it. But yeah, but we do have all the new cave generation for this, which is going to be really cool. So I guess we can try teleporting to some people now. Let's start going through the teams. So the first team, we've already been to them a little bit, but we're going to go to Crow. First team is Crow, Ilu, Wingu, and Tiffany. And I'm not sure how any of these teams are going to do in terms of skill or kills or win equity wise. I'm not entirely sure how all that's going to work. Oh, my audio is way too low now. My audio just got way too. Okay, maybe I think we're just loud for me. Let me try turning it up for you guys. Let me fix that real quick. That should be a little bit better. I do have the stats page pulled up, so I can see how many kills everyone has gotten throughout their time. And Crow has only actually gotten 1 kill in Dime a Dozen, and it's a team kill. that he actually got last season on Co Joshua. So not the best track record for Crow going into this, but you know, we can hope that that he does a little bit better. He is definitely known in like the UHC community for being one of the more better for being one of the better PvP players. So we could definitely see him doing quite well this season. Although if we're just counting in Time a Dozen, his track record is not that good. Just going through the stats to try and find everyone, which is surprisingly difficult because there's a few people. Elu has 3 kills throughout their time in Dime a Dozen, killing blocks in season 3 and Potsy and Llama in season 4. So a bit more of a better record for Elu going through this. I'm trying to remember if this is Wing's first season or not, because I think she's still fairly new to this round. I think I could be completely wrong about that. I'm not entirely sure. I can check actually. Oh no, she played 1, and she survived 1 episode in it apparently. It was in season 5, and apparently she died within 1 episode. So I don't know how she died. I can't remember, but my hope is that she can survive a little bit longer this time around. She's like, I think Wingu is probably one of the oldest UHC players on this roster in terms of like length of playing the game. Like I think her, Wacko, I think Tiffany is also a fairly old player. Elu is an old player. Wacko's an old player. Ori is an old player. Radical and Da, I think, are old players. Actually, it's quite a few old players. I think that's kind of reason like why I like thought about why I always like Damo Dozen is because it's like a lot of like older UHC players, at least from like the time that I was actively playing and everything. And then finally Tiffany, who has played a few seasons. I think how many seasons has she played? I'm trying to find her on the stats page because I know she's played a couple, but for some reason she's played 4 seasons actually so far. She has played 4 seasons and she doesn't have any kills yet, unfortunately. But I'm hoping that this is that this is the season where it changes for her. I'm rooting for her in this one. I'm hoping she gets at least 1 kill. And ideally she doesn't follow in Crow's footsteps and have it be a team kill. But if she happens to kill Crow in the team kill, then I think that's just desserts for the last season that Crow played. And Radical is cheating, according to the chat. He's using reach hacks. How dare he? I'm going to go over to the green team next, go into Central Eric, who I remember was one of the more prominent players within the last couple seasons. In fact, he actually is topping the kill board right now out of everyone in Dime a Dozen. He has 12 kills total. He killed Bandius in the first season. Then he proceeded to get a further 7 kills in Season 5, being the winner. And then 4 kills. Did he actually win the next one as well? I think he may have done. No, he didn't. He was runner-up. He came runner-up in the 6th one, getting a further 4 kills. So he's definitely one of the better players in this roster. Definitely, if we're going to be looking out for people to get kills in this season, it's going to be him. And then go to Co Joshua, who was the unfortunate recipient of the player who got killed by Crow last time. Let's see if I can find any stats on Co Joshua. Co Joshua has gotten 1 kill throughout his time in Dime a Dozen, and he killed Wacko Flipper, which is, in my opinion, is the equivalent of about 12 kills because it's deserved. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I mean, 1 kill is not bad, especially on Wacko, who is definitely not the worst player in the round at all. How many seasons has Josh played? I'm trying to find out, like, how many seasons everyone's played. It can sometimes be a little difficult. A simple dungeon. Does that just mean just a regular dungeon? I didn't realize there were different kinds of dungeons. That's this one. Co Joshua has also played 4 seasons. He played the first 3 and then took a break and he missed a couple and then went straight into season 6. Now he's back for season 7. Clicker, I remember spectating in season 2, I think it was, and she has a very good strategy right now of setting the entire forest on fire. If this doesn't make people's computers lag, nothing will. It's a good strategy. It's a good strategy, all things considered. I remember spectating Clicker, and I think it was the second season. I think her, Wacko, and some other people had a bit of an arc with a spider, and I think it was named something. That's all I remember. It's hard to remember everything, but I that's like one of the few things I remember from Clicker. And Clicker, if I'm looking on the stats, I don't believe she has any kills yet. But if I look at how many seasons she's played, Clicker has actually only played 2 seasons before this. I thought she was a lot more common in this roster, but no, she isn't. So this is actually only her 3rd season in the round. That is actually a bit surprising to me. We go to the great guy who's hosting this event for us, Wacko. He has some enchanted armor with mending and a lot of arrows. That's exciting. This man's ready for some F1 PvP killing. Wacko has, of course, played every single season of the round, and he has yet to get a single kill, which I don't think is his fault. There was a scrap season in which he could have killed me, but I ran and died to Chloe instead. I think he got a couple of kills in that one, but for a couple of reasons it was scrapped. I can't remember why it was scrapped. I think it was a free-for-all. But I think this will be Wacko's time. I think this time he's going to get a kill. Either that or everyone's going to aggressively target him so that he doesn't get a kill because some people just find it funny. But no, I can't see that happening. I genuinely do think this might be Wacko's time to finally get a kill. We're actually running towards the end of the episode here. I probably spent way too much time looking underground to find out if to try and figure out if the deep dark existed in this. We probably spent a bit too much time doing that. Da on the other team, this is his 6th season out of 7. He has actually played all but 1 season throughout his time in Dime a Dozen. I'm trying to find his name. He's gotten 3 kills in that time, which is absolutely not that bad at all. He's killed Wacko Flipper twice in season 1 and 2. He also killed Forbit in season 2. I think I actually remember that. I think him and someone else, might have been Rande or Radical, one of them, had I think they had a 2v1 against Forbit, who had a substantial amount more diamond armor. Dar, from my memory, is definitely more of a bow PvP player. So if this season was good for anyone, I think he is definitely probably going to be one of the better players when it comes to bowing, especially because that's what this season is going to be primarily all about. We're not going to probably be seeing too much melee. Although I also don't think he's very, very known to like these new versions as much. I could be wrong about that, but I did see him take some damage to these stalagmites earlier, and these things can easily trip you up if you're not used to them. Hell, even if you are used to them, they can be very frustrating to deal with. This is Jay. He constantly changes his IGN, although I think I've seen this IGN on him a couple times before this. I could be completely wrong about that, or he's had something similar. He's definitely one that has that does constantly change his name. He also has 3 kills, killing Summer and then Madge and Elu in season 3. Killing a 3. I think the average for this round definitely seems to be around like that 2 to 4, or like that 2 to 3 kill mark, at least for like the people that are in this roster. Some people are taking some early PBE damage, actually. We can see Purple. We actually see Cyan Team is the lowest on 350. Yeah, people have definitely started to take damage. No one's at 100. No one's at 400 anymore. We can go over to Radical, who's already full iron armor, and maybe the best we use in PvE is also a stone axe. I always thought it wasn't, but I guess I guess I was wrong. Radical was actually one of the main winners of season 3, so he's got that going for him. He's found a diamond, actually. We got good timing there, although he's finding it very quickly Just like we all did when this new updates came out, that the diamond veins are now considerably smaller, much smaller than they used to be. Hopefully this big cable will name a few more though. And that is the end of the episode. Poison is now absolutely going to destroy people. So if anyone gets witched, they're in trouble next episode. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.